Your continuing coverage on Net News Ledger with our Federal Politics 2.0. Sitting in the studio via Zoom is Eric Melillo, the Member of Parliament for the Kenora riding. This is James with Net News Ledger. Stay tuned and stay subscribed. It's James with Net News Ledger, and it's Friday, and that means we have Eric Melillo, the MP for Kenora riding, coming in to tell us what's going on and how things are with COVID-19 on the federal side. Eric, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Well, I'm one coffee in, 2 coffees to go, and then I can start my day officially.
Fair enough. I'm still on my first as well, so I think you're actually ahead of me.
It's been another week of, the province provincially, we're in a lockdown. It's affecting us across the region. You've been busy working on a number of issues. Let's start with them. Securing vaccines. What's happening? What do our readers and viewers need to know?
Yeah, so I've been having a lot of conversations with healthcare workers in my riding and across northern and western Ontario, and of course, I've been keeping up to date with not only the province of Ontario, but seeing what some of the other provinces have been saying is that the vaccines are really slow to be rolled out from the federal government, and that's a common theme that we've been hearing. We're looking at the United States right now is able to vaccinate citizens 3 times the pace that we are currently vaccinating in Canada. The UK, Israel, many other countries are vaccinating at a much quicker pace as a percentage of the population. So part of what I've been advocating for quite some time, and that what my party's been advocating for and trying to push for, is a quicker response from the federal government to not only have an agreement to procure vaccines in the future, but ensure that they're actually coming to Canada and they're being distributed in a quick manner, because we have great healthcare workers across the country that are ready to go. They're ready to roll up their sleeves, get to work, and really start vaccinating Canadians. However, the vaccine doses aren't there, so that's going to be continue to be a primary focus for me and for my party in the weeks and months ahead.
That's going to be one that, the only way we're going to get this thing in our rearview mirror is once people have the vaccine and once this is no longer part of our lives every day.
Absolutely. People, whether they're business owners or just workers, just people that are frustrated with the situation. Obviously, we all want to be past COVID. We all have plans for what we want to do when things get back to normal, but that we recognize that we can't have that. We can't have that economy come back if we don't have a plan for vaccines and an effective distribution of vaccines. So that's paramount that the government works to fix this as quickly as possible. And I also want to take this opportunity to encourage everyone to take the vaccine when they have the opportunity. I know that we're hoping that that opportunity will be sooner than later, but they're obviously a very effective healthcare tool and something that will keep you and everyone around you safe.
Now, you have some good news in terms of some support that's gone to the Royal Canadian Legion. What's happening?
Yeah, I was very happy to see that the government was moving forward on this. Legions across Canada, and of course, particularly many of those in my riding, have been struggling throughout this year because of the lost revenue from traditional events and large gatherings that aren't able to happen during the pandemic times. So what we were calling for, what Legions have been asking for, the government has finally delivered on. They've allocated some support to Legions across Canada, and they're actually working to expand the number of Legions that have qualified for that. So I'm happy that Dryden, Red Lake, and Your Falls in my riding have received some funding, and we're working to ensure that all the Legions, not just in my riding, but of course across the country, can access this fund so that they're able to survive throughout this pandemic and continue to support veterans and their families.
Now, one of the issues that you do a lot of work on is anything northern. Now, I know we talk about it here at Net News Ledger that we are Western Ontario in the southern part, say from Sioux Lookout south. north would be Pickle Lake and up to Washoe Cree Nation or Fort Severn. But you've had an opportunity in the last week to do some stuff to the far north.
That's right. I was happy to join our leader, Aaron O'Toole, on his virtual tour of the north. So we met with the Yukon Chamber of Commerce as well as the Northwest Territories and Nunavut Chamber of Mines. And it was a great virtual trip. I wish we could have done it in person. I've never been up to the territories yet, but hopefully sooner than later we'll have that opportunity. But it was a great discussion on natural resources, on tourism and seasonal industries, and really a lot of the same things that we've been hearing down in Western Ontario, sort of the southern north, however you'd like to phrase it. Very similar issues impacting businesses in the far north as well. And it was a great discussion to help inform myself and, of course, our leader Aaron O'Toole on how we can best advocate for these industries that have been left behind as we go forward.
Now, did they make you leave the door open and have some cold air come in while you were on the virtual tour?
No, they didn't. I think I had the heat blasting in my office at the time, so I didn't quite get the full far north experience, but hopefully in the near future that'll be possible.
Well, with the weather that we've been getting across the west and the north in our part of Ontario, I mean, there is an end in sight. There's a polar vortex apparently starting to form and break up and change the jet stream. So it's going to get winter eventually. What do you need to share with people across the region and the riding about what's happening? Yeah,
I think as we move forward here towards the resumption of Parliament, I'm really focused on how we're going to be holding the government to account and fighting for Canadians. Obviously, I mentioned the vaccines as one thing, and that's sort of part of the broader scope of how we get our economy going, how we can look towards a post-pandemic recovery. That's really the focus for me and my party. And the Prime Minister can talk all he wants about elections and start nominating candidates across the country as he's been doing, but we're going to remain focused on holding his government to account and to working for Canadians. We think that's that has to be our priority right now, and that's what we're going to continue to do as Parliament resumes at the end of the month.
Something that we're hearing from readers and from people across the region, the initial rollout of the CERB and the business support led to a lot of people applying, and then the CRA has come back and said, whoa, you don't apply and you have to pay it back. Are you hearing many of those problems in Kenora riding?
I've heard a few. Perhaps I haven't. It's just a timing issue. I'm not sure, but from what I gather, there are many other MPs who are hearing it much more than I am. But it's definitely an issue in our riding and across the country. People who are relying on these benefits that are now having them clawed back. There was a lack of clarity around who could qualify in the first place, and of course, the government we know didn't properly do their due diligence to actually go through each application. So this is an issue of the government's creation, and I know that we're going to continue, as I've mentioned many times, to be the voice of those who have been left behind through these programs, and also those who are going to be struggling to find some support, whether it's due to a CERB clawback or if maybe they've applied for another program that they weren't able to qualify for as well. So there are many gaps. This has been a very stressful time for a lot of people, and I know that the government's mishandling of many of these things has made it a lot more difficult.
Eric, I want to thank you for taking the time again, and for your constituents out there. If there's anyone needing to get a hold of Eric, the Kenora office number is 807-468-2170. And in Dryden, it's 807-223-2182. And of course, you can always reach Eric by email, and we'll put the the email down along the bottom here. So if you do have to reach your member of parliament for Kenora, you certainly can. Eric, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. It's much appreciated, and hope you have a good weekend.